Hi everybody, welcome back to my LinkedIn Lives. I'm Jasmine Navarro, certified wellbeing expert, working with educational institutions and companies, helping them support their family wellbeing challenges. And as you know, every week I interview different experts who make a difference. And today I'm super excited finally to be interviewing Andrea. Hi Andrea.
Hi, Jasmine. Really, finally. I'm glad.
Finally. We've been planning this for so long. Thank you so much for your patience. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do, or who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. First, thank you for making this happen. It's a pleasure to be here. So, who am I? I'm a certified coactive coach, and I specialize in relationships. I work with individuals and I work with couples and I work also with co-founders, with any kind of pairs of people working on conflict resolutions, on improving the quality of their relationships. Because as the title says it, I really believe that it improves the quality of our lives and fulfillment.
Exactly. Wow. Okay. And can you tell us a bit more about this title? So healthy relationships for deeper fulfillment, and what made you choose it for today?
Sure. So I don't believe that fulfillment fully solely depends on healthy relationships. However, the quality of our daily interactions with people definitely strongly impact our fulfillment. So we can be fulfilled having the best job ever, living in an amazing home, living in a city one. But if the quality of our relationships, if we do not have this warmth inside, if we don't feel safe in our relationship, if we feel too lonely, we're not going to be that fulfilled.
Yeah, completely agree with you. And do you mean every relationship that we have, or do you just mean like partners?
I think the close ones. So it could be partners, but also, how many hours do we spend at work? So if we have the closest people we work with on a daily basis and it's a toxic environment, it's going to impact also our well-being. It's going to impact our energy when we go back home, whether to train, whether to see friends, if we have a partner and if we have a family, and vice versa. At home, sometimes it could be your partner. If you're with a partner, it could be a very close friend. So although I work also with couple specific, I'm making it a point that it is any close relationship. So even if someone is single, the close relationship, the ones that you have the most interaction with on a daily basis, will impact your well-being and your fulfillment.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Can you break it down even more for like everybody who's watching? Like, why do our relationships have such an impact?
Yeah. Well, there's no right exact answer, but there's one thing that's for sure is that we all want to feel safe. And we all want to feel connection. We all want to feel, so in couples specifically, we want to feel intimacy. And all this comes from being vulnerable. And the more we're vulnerable, like Brené Brown says, the more we're courageous, the more we tap into this part of our being, we can bring this also in other aspects of our lives, be it at work, be it when we're living on purpose. So it's really the way we become in these relationships we will be leading our lives from that place, if that makes sense.
Oh, wow. That's very interesting. So it's like our relationships with other people sort of like determine the relationship we have with life, our life.
Because it's the way we are everywhere, right? That's one thing. And another thing, if the relationships are toxic, if we're feeling blamed, if we're feeling not seen, if we're not feeling in a safe environment where we can express, because we all have challenges, right? Life is full of challenges.
Yes,
So if I cannot come and lean on a good friend, if I cannot come and lean on my partner, if I don't feel safe to come and speak to my director at work, I will build in these emotions, right? And
Yeah.
these will show up through symptoms, autoimmune diseases, insomnia, anxiety, constipation. So all these are impacting my health. And so no matter how successful I am in terms of being fulfilled in life, if I don't feel well and safe and rested, I'm not gonna, we can't call that being fulfilled, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's really interesting. You said about autoimmune diseases. Is that true? It can.
I mean, there's a high link of how couples who have been in long marriages, if the relationship was toxic, if you feel constantly criticized or blamed, some people developed autoimmune diseases. It's not fully. There was a correlation that showed that people feel distress, people lose confidence in themselves, and again, when you lose confidence on one aspect, it will show off in other aspects of your life. So when you are in an environment where your confidence is low, it could be at work, the same, where you're feeling not good enough, there's a mismatch in the role, or you have a manager which is not, very empowering, you will come back home feeling not very confident. So we bring in these energies across other aspects of our lives.
It's so interesting. It's so interesting. And like you said, if something's affecting our emotions, it's our emotions. And of course, it's going to affect our body, our physical.
Absolutely. It's always linked.
It's always linked. Wow, that's really interesting. Because I've never heard
any unprocessed emotion will show up as a symptom in your body.
Oh, yes. And what?
So when we suppress because if we don't feel safe, we're going to suppress what we want to say. It will show up, and it shows up different. I get tightness in my neck. Sometimes I get constipation. Sometimes, so everyone has something, but it will show. Your body gives you signals.
Yeah, and it could just show up as stress.
Absolutely.
And frustration.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, I thought you could say that. No, it's amazing. It's amazing just to I mean, it completely makes sense, doesn't it? And you think, how come we don't even know this? I mean, we probably do know it, but we don't think about it all the time and make those connections, do we?
Absolutely not. And here I'll talk about the importance of education around healthy relationships, which lacks. I mean, we study biology, we study so much things at uni and at school, but we've never taught how do we identify and differentiate between healthy communication and toxic communication, right?
Exactly.
Sometimes we don't even know that we are having a role in creating this toxic dynamic.
Exactly. So unaware.
So as you said, sometimes we're frustrated, right? And so when I feel frustrated and I'm suppressing, and this is building up resentment, I'm going to come and blame the other partner, right? The other person in that relationship. And the other person is going to go defensive. And here we go. And the more he's defensive, the more you're going to blame. And it created this dance. But people are not even aware of how they are creating this kind of dynamic. So I think on one hand, education around how to build healthy communication is crucial.
Yes.
And on the other hand, learning to know yourself, getting to know. So an inner work, right? Using your triggers or your frustration or your anger or your fear as an opportunity to really get to know yourself, get to know where you may have had wounds, what are limiting beliefs you are having, what is it that you're afraid of, and how to really heal any wound that you have. Or, we never get to this 100% of healing, but lower the power of them that are impacting your life today and rewiring these beliefs.
It's so true, because like you're saying, building the relationship with yourself is the first step, isn't it? To building the relationship with others. So it's very interesting what you're saying. So what would you say to, like, if we have people watching now and maybe, they're having a really difficult time with a colleague at work, the relationship it might not be a really, really close one, but they're not really getting along and they're blaming that person, it's their fault, they do this, they do that. Like, what would you say, like, what's the first step? If you're in this relationship, like at work, you can't always avoid that.
So I think, so first, really taking some time to becoming aware what's really that's frustrating me. Really, sometimes we're not sure, it's not clear. We're frustrated, we blame. But is it because I'm feeling that I'm carrying all the project on my own? Is it because I feel there's unfairness? Is it because this person is being too aggressive? So what is it? And then trying to have a very authentic and vulnerable conversation about it. Really showing assertive, and instead of the blame, trying to use I communication. When that happen, or when you do that, I feel it's unfair for me. I feel too much. And so this is a way of also setting boundaries. So if in case it's a load, or in case, I think setting healthy boundaries is crucial.
Yes.
And not letting it rise, not letting all that commute rise, but rather trying to say, and trying to also exchange. So use active listening. What is it that they're trying to say because sometimes we're in our heads and we have this very strong idea. So trying to be curious and say, what do you think? Or is there something that you would like to share with me? So trying to be curious about what's going on.
It's always these techniques, isn't it? They're so powerful. Active listening, powerful questioning, validation. It's how we have effective communication, isn't it?
Absolutely. You said it very well. Yeah.
I think a lot of people, though, they think they're listening. That's the thing.
But they're not.
Yeah. So how do people listen? How do people do this?
Exactly. So that's a very good point. I think when someone is very triggered, they're not able to listen. So one, there is calming the nervous system. And sometimes it could be, just going out, having a phone call with a friend, having a break, listening to a song you like when you're at the office. Otherwise, there's also deeper things that you can do, like some daily meditation, some sports activities that will calm and soothe the nervous system. Those are the physical activities. But then there's the inner work, right? Trying to go deeper and understand, why is there that much anger? Maybe there is a deeper, older experience that is re-emerging in that situation.
Wow.
Maybe there's fear here. So I think it's important to try to do some individual work in order to let go and free ourselves from previous fears that are today impacting your life, impacting the way you show up in these conversations.
100%. I completely agree with you. And it's funny, isn't it? Because a lot of the time, I mean, I've spoken to people and, maybe I've said, maybe that thing that happened in your past is affecting you. And I hear it a lot. Oh, it's in the past. Past is the past. But it's like, no, our bodies are, if you haven't processed it, our bodies are still carrying that, and it's going to dictate your future.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had some experiences in the corporate world, which, when I wanted to, previously, I wanted to move to another job, I would come with a lot of anxiety. So we are human, right? We are all human. So when we experience when we have a bad experience, if it happens and it really agitated your nervous system, you will apprehend the next situation that resembles that. Maybe this is going to happen. Maybe, and this is our saboteur mind. So it's important to try to calm our nervous system, regulate, and nurture this other part, right? Our powerful, wise leader within that enabled us to see clear. Because when our nervous system is quite triggered, it's like boiling water. When it's really boiling, you can't see anything. And so it could be it's very reactive. It's your inner child. There's fear, there's anxiety, there's always hesitation. It's never clear. And this is where, whenever you're in this state, it means there is still an opportunity for you to try to calm down. And going back to healthy relationships, being in healthy relationships, being around people that do not trigger you, even if there's an inner work to be done, taking accountability of how you show up, they will help you heal. They will help you regulate. They will help you be more relaxed. Because when you are in a healthy relationship at home, you will feel safe, you will feel warm, your nervous system is going to be regulated. So when you go to the office, you're not fueled with triggers and anxiety, and you hence the link of how healthy
You think it
relationships.
starts at home? Everything starts at home.
Yeah, for some. And for example, a consultant or a banker that works so long at the office, the relationships you have at the office can actually even impact the way you show up at home.
So true, isn't it? Like you say, yeah, it's basically where you're spending most of your time. And I guess if you're spending a lot of time alone, well, then I guess it's, again, working on I think every answer, every solution always comes back to, what do I need to work on?
Absolutely. I think there's always something. And sometimes, I get taken away with a lot of workload and back-to-back calls. And as a coach, sometimes you need to recharge alone. And I sometimes miss making efforts with some friends. And here comes the weekend. I'm like, okay, and what's my plan now? And I feel this like, whoa, where's my support system? Where are my friends? We all want that. We are wired to connect with other people. Even if coaching, I am connecting with people, but it's different to have this very more natural, friendly kind of people you can just.
Totally. It's just, like you said, a support network, just having people around you. You don't have to have deep conversations all the time, but just being around people that you like and to have fun with.
Absolutely. You pointed on a very important thing. And I think people are missing fun.
Yes.
We are in the doing, in the working, in the, just achieving. Yeah. And sometimes we get lost in that. And it's an opportunity to catch ourselves, right? Like, when is the last time I really laughed? When is the last time I just, played with a small kid, just bringing more of this childlike into our lives.
Oh, definitely. And I know for a fact, like a lot of clients I work with, when we do the Wheel of Life, fun seems to always, well, not always, but often it's the lowest. It's like, oh my God, I'm not having any fun in my life. And then, like you said, it's because we're working too much and then you're too tired to socialize. So then you feel lonely.
Yeah. And you see that even more in bigger cities. It's fast, there's work, and if people are married and they have kids, so they're running after time. They're not taking charge of the way they want to live sometimes. And I say sometimes, good, there definitely are exceptions, but a majority is they have to wake up, they have to drop the kid, they have to go to work. And what is lost is being fully present. Because when you're tired, when you're trying to just catch up on everything and you feel like you're losing the art of real conversation. You're losing the art of turning your phone away and really being present and really being able to let the other feel seen and heard and appreciated, and vice versa, because both need that.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be, it's not like you're saying I don't think you're saying that you need to do this for hours and hours every day. How, because some people might say, I don't have time to have that conversation.
Of people say, yeah. And sometimes it's just checking in, right? Like sometimes, I ask my clients, when is the last time you checked in? So just asking the other person, because you come back, you need to do the dishes, I need to take that, we need to buy this. And when is the last time you just ask? You're not even anymore attuned to feel if your partner is feeling well or less well, and just check in. How's it going for you at work? How are you feeling? Is there anything I can support you with?
Yeah, a few simple questions. I mean, you could literally do it 5 minutes. Yeah.
And this is extremely powerful in alleviating the load, the anxiety, or the stress.
Yes.
So it's just empathy. It has been proven that social empathy really, sometimes they don't want it, they want problems to be fixed. They just want someone to feel.
Yes. And like you said, if you do this every day, like you said, you're not suppressing those emotions. Every day, 5 minutes a day.
Exactly. Let's whenever we come home or whenever we finish dinner, let's just take 5 minutes and just check in. And even at the office, like let's do a weekly check. Like, how's it going for you? Is there anything I can do? Or if the manager under can say, is there anything you advise me to improve, or do you have any feedback? Because they don't want to get this surprise, right, on the review. So authenticity, creating this authentic flow, this vulnerability, this safe space, it's safety that creates healthy relationship.
Like,
We all want safety at the end.
Yeah, and like being real, and like you were saying before about, we were talking about ChatGPT a little bit, and so much is ChatGPT, and it's like, I think we need authenticity more than ever, don't we? Like I think sometimes we forget we're human. We're only human, It's
That's what differentiates us, right? And that's what brings the and authenticity brings belonging. And we
tell us more
all
about that.
we all want to feel a sense of belonging. And some people are sometimes wired into wanting to fit in. What do I need to be accepted by the team, by the group, instead of being yourself and being loved by others. And you may lose some people, but it doesn't matter, because the feeling of being accepted for who you are exactly, of being loved for who you are exactly, is such reconforting. It's so fulfilling.
Yes, no, definitely. So you work with a lot of couples, you were saying. So what kind of challenges do they come to you with?
Sometimes most of the time not being able to communicate. And what happens is that when one person doesn't feel understood, there's resentment that builds up, blaming, and then stonewalling happens, or defensiveness happen. It creates even more frustration, and then blaming, and it becomes a dance, right? And there's no more safety, because they don't feel safe to express themselves properly, because they feel misunderstood, and they don't feel safe because they're not feeling listened to, they're not feeling validated. So here there is a lack of appreciation, and here there's a lack of validation and of acknowledgement. So it's both. It's a lack of safety at the end that's happening.
Yes. No, I think a lot of, like we were saying, this happens in so many areas of our lives, not just intimate relationships, like you said, relationships at work, family relationships. We feel we're not being listened to. Even when I work with teenagers, a lot of the time they say, I'm not being listened to.
It's as if they feel not understood, as if they're in their world and they're feeling all this frustration. And sometimes they're not even capable of knowing. I mean, it sounds judgmental. Sorry, I want to correct my sentence. They're not aware of what is it that they're feeling, or what is the need that is being unmet for them to feel safe. Sometimes it's consideration. Sometimes it's feeling an effort from the other regarding what they like, which would be a bit of a compromise, but their love language that, I care for you, hence I want to do that. So it's really just being seen, being met where they are. But sometimes they're not there.
Well, it's like back to the self-awareness again. And we were saying, we've touched on quite a lot during the conversation about how important it is to work on yourself. Do you think, because obviously working with a coach, working with a therapist, I think is absolutely amazing. But do you think, some people might not want to work with a coach or therapist? What else could they do to build healthy relationships?
I think a very powerful tool is designing. designing.
Okay. Oh, tell us about that. Yes, tell us about that.
So really trying to envision, dream, what is the kind of relationship you want? How do you want it to be? What's there? Respect, warmth, care, non-judgmental, and really stating them. And each one would state what do they need, right? And then how do you want to show up? Who do you want to be in that relationship? Taking accountability, and also designing when things escalate, because they're going to escalate because there's no relationship without conflict. It's inevitable. How do we want to be? Because it has been shown that couples that has the fastest or healthiest way of resolving conflict are the ones that lasted the longest.
Yes, yes. So true, isn't it? So true. So you think the designing, so really figuring out what you want from that relationship.
And also, I mean, if you're not able to really do some work to understand what are your values, to understand your triggers, because when you're going to be triggered, some emotional regulation, so activities, again, to, okay, when we get in a fight, let's take 5 minutes, because it's useless to have this conversation when you're very, triggered. Just calm down, have a walk, etc., and then have a conversation from a place of adult. But what really helps is, because when you understand, like, I care about, I don't know, understanding your values. When you do not meet me there, I feel frustrated, or I feel it helps when you become aware of what is it that you value, what's important for you in a relationship. You're able to understand why you're upset, or why you're angry, or why you're frustrated.
Yes, definitely. And likely to be able to express yourself. I guess the first step is knowing, and then expressing yourself is another level, I guess. Being able to communicate your needs so they understand.
Exactly. So instead of blaming the other. So it's important also to, maybe, if you don't want to work with someone, just try to research some of, Gottman Institute communication styles, toxic versus healthy communication. But I really think that sometimes you can have all the workbook, all the
information.
But if the work, if there's wounds inside, I think go there. Some people have healthier childhood, so they're luckier, so it's easy, they can do it. But other people, I mean, I've had a tough childhood. My parents got separated, my dad left, etc. I had my own triggers, and they get stored in our body, right? So going there and processing these emotions are really freeing in order to build these healthier relationships.
We need a healthy foundation. You need to start off, like you said, you've got to, especially if you've had traumatic childhoods or something, you really need to. And like they say, it's not our fault, but it's our responsibility. I really do believe that.
Exactly. So we don't need to blame our parents. They did what they thought was best. But as adults, 2024, with everything that's available for us, there's no excuses. I mean, if you really had triggers, and if you notice that you can be too angry or too frustrated or unable to communicate, I mean, use it. It's a gift. It's a gift to really try to figure out what's there, what's behind, what's the underlying here that is driving you to react this way. It's an opportunity to move from being reactive to becoming responsive.
So true, and so powerful. No, thank you so much, Andrea. You've shared so many amazing insights today. Now, is there anything else you want to say about building healthy relationships for deeper fulfillment before we go? And how can people find you?
First, thank you very much. People can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram as well, but I think LinkedIn is the easiest way. What can I say? Don't underestimate the power of having healthy relationship and its positive impact on your well-being.
Oh, wow. That's such an amazing takeaway. And what's one thing that somebody can do who's watching now? They've never done any sort of work on themselves. What's the first step?
Become aware. How's the quality of your relationships in your life today? If you want to rate them from 0 to 10.
Ask yourself a question.
Yeah. How fulfilled are you?
Amazing. I love it.
We
I love it.
normalize, right?
Yeah. Can you write that question on the post? So not here
Yeah.
on the actual LinkedIn. So
Okay.
you can see it. Yeah. No, but thank you so much, Andrea. And thank you everybody for joining us. If you have any questions or comments about this, you can put them on the post or message Andrea directly. Thank you so much, Andrea. It was an absolute pleasure to finally do this.
It does a
I'm glad to see much from you. And I will see everybody else next week.